I think they responded really well. They came out today, and it was a much different attitude. Very spirited practice is a good word for it, I guess, on both sides. And I thought we came out and we're firing all cylinders. The guys were excited, good emotion, good communication, a lot of carryover as I look around individual, a lot of carryover from drill to team. That's what wasn't happening last year. They were just trying to get lined up and execute. But there's a lot of carryover happening right now and a lot of good stuff, so I was happy.
Scott mentioned Nick's injury to us. How do you just feel about where your middle backers are at right now?
I don't think we're deep enough there, for sure. Obviously, Scott mentioned that injury. We got to have some of those other guys step up, maybe some incoming guys. Some of these walk-on guys, they're not walk-ons anymore to me. I mean, they're just 2s and 3s, and they got to go. They got to get ready, but we needed to keep developing depth at that position. We're going to have another big year recruiting at that position, but I don't feel great about the depth right there right now.
Hey, Coach, what do you think you'll be able to see from your unit in front of a packed house in Florida State that maybe you haven't been able to observe here in the Hawks?
I don't know if it's something you haven't been able to observe. I mean, obviously every spring game you tamp it down a little bit, running some base stuff. Obviously these are on national television. You don't want to give up away too much. But one more chance for us to get off blocks and tackle. One more chance for us to make plays when it's live bullets. And then you're going to see a couple guys that haven't had the chance to play in front of 10,000, let alone 90,000. So I'm going to see how those guys react, if they get big eyes or if they're going to go out there and operate a little bit. So that'll be really fun to watch.
Scott said last week that, in simple terms, that you guys have kind of kicked the offense's butt for most of this spring. Is that where you expected this defense to be back in January during spring practice, or where did you expect to be one practice before the spring game?
I thought we were going to be pretty good up front, and when you're good up front, then the rest of the team can kind of catch up. So I think that kind of happened. We're good up front. The back end's playing really good right now. Colin Miller and Mo Berry are really playing well. And like we got to mention, we got to get some guys to come along. But I don't know if I thought we'd be quite where we're at. I'm pleased. I don't think we're ready to go play the college football playoffs right now by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm pleased with where we're at. I think it's good progress.
How much did Darren Daniels figure into that? Like, how happy have you been with him, and how good has he been for that defensive line?
Yeah, I've been really happy with him. Not just as, obviously he's a good football player. I think you guys have figured that out from the comments, but he's really helped the whole group elevate. He's provided competition. He's provided leadership, a grown-up in that room, if you will. He's provided work ethic. He's provided a lot to that group, so I think he was a huge addition to our team.
You have 7 fifth-year seniors on that defense and a bunch of fourth-year guys, too. Does it feel like you're coaching men and not kids?
You know what? Regardless of age, it feels like we're coaching, some grown men this year. And I don't think it's age. I think it's attitude of the team. I think it's how they're working, how they go about their business. I don't know if it's a 180, but at least a 90-degree turn from where we were at finishing that year. So I'm really happy with the way the guys just work and the way they understand what we're trying to get done.
How much does that process, having that kind of locked down, help the early enrollees, those younger guys, step up and not really miss a beat?
It's been huge, and I think we've embraced the attitude where I tell those guys that the last meeting we ever have is I'm going on the road and I am trying to replace you. Everybody in this room, period. Your job is to teach the new guys how to take your job and know they can't do it. And I think Mo Berry and some of those DBs are embracing that job. I'm going to teach you how to take my job, bud, but you can't do it. You can't outplay me. You can't outwork me. And that's been a huge step in the right direction for us.
Coach, it sounds like we won't be able to see very much of Adrian Martinez probably this spring game.
That's great for us.
What did you see him? How's he grown as far as
Adrian Martinez is an exceptional football player. And, as a defensive coach, a lot of times in practice, especially when the head coach is an offensive guy, you think you got a sack and you're like, oh, blow the whistle, because you're not supposed to touch the quarterback. With that guy back there, a lot of times the kids are like, there's a sack. I'm like, no, it wasn't, boys. He got out of there and he's still running. So I think he's an exceptional football player. He's an exceptional leader. He makes our team better, not just the offense. I think he's as good as I've been around.
Besides the leadership part of Adrian, what else have you seen, I guess, in the physical game that has improved?
I think he's bigger. He's stronger, he's faster, but I think as a quarterback, he was, he had a pretty good skill set anyways last year. I think now he's just so much more comfortable with the offense, so much more comfortable with what he's supposed to do with the football. That ball's coming out fast. He's making the reads in the run game. I think just that mental part of his clock is moving so much faster, which is pretty cool.
How much does that make the defense?
Oh, it's because Adrian doesn't look at the receivers. You know what I mean? He can tell what we're doing coverage-wise, and he knows where he's going to go. So he's not one of those guys that's going to stare us down. So we got to really break on balls. We've got to really be honest in the run game. So he helps us a tremendous amount.
Erik, you experienced this your first spring game here in Nebraska last year. What about the atmosphere tomorrow? What do you expect?
Well, yeah, I was like one of those guys we were talking about earlier. I was like, we're going to come out. I've been in some spring games before. We came out of that thing last year, and I think all the coaches kind of got a little chill. That was pretty cool. I'm going to be ready for it, but I'm telling all the recruits, I'm like, we got to get you here for the spring game. We got to get you here for the spring game, because I always want them to witness a game day atmosphere, and I can't tell the difference between Saturday, April 15th and September 9th or whatever. So I want to get those people, those families here, so they can see what Nebraska is all about, so they can see what the fans are all about, the best fans in college football, and what it's really like to be in Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska on game day.
And you go recruit right away next week. I don't know if we're going to talk to him Saturday, so ready to do the recruiting thing.
Yeah, I got a baby coming in about a week, so I'm trying to be careful about what my proximity is in recruiting. So I'm going to be in and out next week, and then the good thing about Coach Frost kind of went before spring break this year, so that gives us 6 weeks to get our, you only have a certain amount of days in recruiting. That's a whole nother story, but we got 6 weeks to get those done this year instead of 4, so I can kind of pick and choose a little bit, and hopefully we get that baby here shortly so I can get going.
What's that like juggling that? I know Ryan Held that didn't do it too.
Yeah, I think this is the third time. My first child came on Thursday of our game 1. My second child came in the middle of spring ball. I left spring ball practice on Friday afternoon. Baby was born at like 3 in the morning, so I got there in time. And then this one is going to be touch and go too. If I didn't have an awesome wife that runs the house, I'm in charge here, she's in charge there. There's no doubt about it, but she is awesome, and she takes care of those kids and me, so we make it work.